What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. Strong day inside the entire market, really rebounding as banks are kicking off the earnings season. I want to give you a quick update on what investors were looking for when it comes to the executives' outlooks of all of these banks going forward. I also want to talk about AMC finally breaking out of that $36 to $38 channel, closing above $40. Options expire tomorrow, and I want to take a peek inside the options chain as you have a lot of open interest happening. So let's get right into it. First off, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and Wells Fargo reported better than expected third quarter earnings, but investors were looking at the future outlook more important than the numbers. And this article talks about Bank of America, but it really is, unanimous across the entire board of all the big banks. These two words say everything: strong advisory. One thing investors were looking at was to improve from their weak first half on loan growth. And this one says right here by an executive from Bank of America on the conference call that more loan growth is expected. It talks about numbers, investment banking fees have risen, and they still see a positive future outlook for the next 3 to 6 months going forward. The next thing that helped the market was the jobless claims fall below 300,000 for the first time since the pandemic began. Now, I know you might be thinking to yourself, if you watch my previous videos talking about, wait a minute, you have unemployment that has gone down, but you also mentioned, Jeff, that there was a record number of individuals quitting their jobs, and every single company pretty much across the board is looking to hire. There is a huge labor shortage leading to a very big supply chain issue. And it's kind of an imbalance inside the equilibrium. And the one thing I want to point out is this article that was written actually of May of this year. It says 40% of US dollars in existence were printed in the last 12 months. When you have that amount of capital pumped into circulation inside the United States, that's why savings accounts have risen, spending habits have changed, especially because the pandemic kind of kept people kind of bunkered down a little bit. The fact that these individuals, people are not that urged to get back out into the workforce, to go back to working. Plus, you have individuals that have started other careers in order to be able to make money for themselves going forward. So it's going to be, interesting to see exactly how this divide begins to meet up again throughout probably the next year. It's going to take a little bit for, the economy to work itself through when it comes to the labor shortage going forward. One thing I want to point out here is we finally broke above not only the 50-day moving average, which was a strong close, but above that descending pattern and this trend line I had here. If you notice in one of my last videos, I talked about the RSI having divergence, which is a bullish action going forward. It'll be nice to see if we can break above that 444, 445 on the SPY to continue the movement to the upside. Now let's take a look at AMC. We'll look at the minute chart first on this. Beautiful all day throughout it. Yes, getting into about that 2 to 2:30 time frame, a little bit of sell-off coming into close, but still closing strong. We didn't see that massive knife going into the last 30 minutes. If you look on the daily chart, we finally broke above that ever so tight 36 to $38 dollar channel. We did breach above the 50-day moving average. I'll zoom in a little bit for you right here, but we didn't get that really solid close like we just saw on the SPY. We were at 41. That would have been a really solid close and a good indication that we're going to break through that and move higher to the upside. It'll be exciting to see what tomorrow brings. Another thing I want to point out, and you can see right down here, we finally have the MACD showing an uptrend again on the daily chart. Give it 2 or 3 days to confirm that uptrend going forward. Last thing I want to talk about, which is very important to me because obviously I love the options chain, is this right here. It's set to expire tomorrow. This is the amount of open interest, which is the amount of call contracts that are still open. They have not been closed. Massive volume right here, as you see at the $40 price point, but 30,000 contracts are currently held in the money. Some of these have already been hedged for, obviously, as market makers try to be able to prepare for things happening, a little bit closer, a little bit sooner until that last minute. But it'll be interesting to see, especially, because a lot of people are expecting the market to have a little bit of a gap up again tomorrow, especially because there are more earnings come out tomorrow as well. And the market is back to that bullish sentiment that banks see the outlook the economy moving forward in a positive direction. So considering AMC is heavily weighted inside the IWM, it'll be interesting to really see exactly what happens. You look up top right here, 1.7% on the SPY, 1.7% on the NASDAQ, 1.4 on the Russell 2000, all positive numbers going forward. So it'll be exciting Friday. And finally, after that, September 17th, which we really hit that spike down inside the market, it's nice to see a little bit of shift happening. It's going to take a little bit of time to confirm this uptrend, but things are moving back on the up and up. So that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.